Hey, I told you I would have a special guest today, someone that I've been looking forward to interviewing now for a little while. He is the former CEO of Trade the Pool. I also called him my boss. It's Michael Katz. I'm looking forward to talking to him today. We're going to talk trading. We're going to talk prop firms, and who knows where else this might take us. But Michael, thank you so much for coming on to talk to me for a few minutes.
For sure, for sure. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I wanted to start really with the beginnings for you. We don't have to go back to childhood. We don't have to go back to, being born, but I want to go back to the beginnings of trading. What sparked the idea for you of jumping into the stock market to trade? And how long ago was it? Just give me kind of that basic background of your beginnings in trading.
Yeah, I mean, it was a while back, right? Almost 17, 18 years now, getting closer to the 18 mark. So a long, long time ago, I saw a lot of this stuff, the bear market of 2008 and, bull market, crashes, COVID, everything. So it was an amazing journey for me so far. When I first joined the stock market or just realizing it exists, it was after my ex-girlfriend bought me the Robert Kiyosaki book, The Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? So I read that. I said, okay, I don't have enough money for real estate, so I need to go to the stock market. So I started trading, learning a lot. It took me like 2 years just to learn and get myself around books and videos and whatnot. And then opened the demo account, got myself 10,000 K from the parents at the time, and started to trade. It was a journey.
Yeah, that's good. So it wasn't instant success. It wasn't this sense of like, all right, here's the stock market. Candles go up, candles go down. Within 2 months, you're profitable. You've already made your first $1 million. So you're saying it's not a get rich quick scheme, right?
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, maybe there are a few lucky ones that actually made it that way, but in most cases, you will have to go through some obstacles along the way in order to overcome them and then find the success. Today, with prop firms, it is easier than before, for sure. You got more capital to trade with. It's not your own capital, so basically detaching yourself from the money aspect of things. So in that case, it is a bit more easier, but still, it's a profession like anything else. You wouldn't expect a doctor to make his first surgery within a week, right? So it's the same thing. You gotta go through the path in order to become a better trader and then a better trader.
Exactly. I want to circle back to the prop firm idea. Obviously, trade the pool. But I do want to ask you too. So when you made the sort of transition from, you're getting in the stock market, you're getting going with it, and then it takes you a few years to get good or at least get profitable. What was sort of that? What was it an overnight? After 2-3 years or whatever, was it boom? Okay, now you're good. Now you're ready to go. Now you're a profitable trader, or was there a slower process here because you've traded for 17 years? Was it this process of slowly sort of escalating up into becoming a profitable trader? How did you turn the corner?
Yeah, I always compare it to driving, right? At first, you just need to understand where the gas, where the brakes, how do you put your seatbelt on, all of those tiny stuff, fixing the mirror, just understanding what's going on in the vehicle and then going into the road. And the beauty in the market, it's literally exactly the same in driving. You have sunny days that you're driving when the highway is super free, on a Sunday morning, or if you're driving during a storm and bad weather and you need to drive much more slower and understand when and how strong to put on the brakes or the gas, all of those nuances. And this is basically where you grow and become a better trader. As you continue to pay attention to nuances, you become more aware of patterns, right? You become a better pattern recognition, basically. and then you realize more, you put your attention more on the risk side and understand how much you need to risk, how to manage the trade, all of those tiny stuff that will make you a professional. So that is something that happening roughly after 2 or 3 years. If you into that, if you literally every day sit down and trade and put your focus on, and then you start to see a turning point, the turning point which will get you from, it's losing, then break even, then profit, and then, okay, I'm doing it well, so I'm consistent as well.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I've been meaning to ask you too. So, what kind of trader do you find yourself to be? Is it chart analysis? Is it fundamental analysis that you're looking at? Is it technicals? Or is it none of the above? What are some of the ways in which you particularly trade?
I'm a day trade by core, right? My core is definitely day trading. I love it till this day. The fact that you can sit down and analyze the chart in real time and make decisions in real time. For me, that's the exciting part, or at least the challenging part, which I love to do. So definitely technical analysis. Today, I'm much more of a discretionary trader than before when I were more of a systematic trader. So, you get the hang of it, let's put it that way, and then you start to understand better when and how to make your decisions, not necessarily according to specific rules, but you have an overall idea and you execute upon that. So definitely technical, chart analyst, and yeah, pattern recognition, everything around that price action.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Yep. Yep. So if I were to give you if you could just utilize one particular time frame and you could only use one time frame to trade, would you use the 1 minute, the 15 minute, or the 4 hour? And I said, okay, Michael, you don't get to use anything else. This is it. You don't get to look at anything else. Is it the 1 minute, 15, or 4 hour time frame?
Okay, that's a tricky one. It is a tricky one because I'm analyzing the chart on a hourly chart and then executing on a 1 minute chart. And I think, regardless of the question, and maybe I will answer that, but I think that you should have a higher time frame just to give yourself an overlook or wider overview of the market, and then find the nuances to execute on a 1 minute chart or whatever works for you. If I would answer your question, I would probably stick to the hourly chart just so I can get a wider view on the market and then execute on that.
Yeah. Well, for any good trader, that was just that was kind of a trick question, and that I knew you would explain it that way. So that's really great, because we all do. We have to look at the various time frames, right? We can't just stay in that one zone. So that's really great.
And talking about just diving just a tiny bit more, I'm also use 5 seconds and 15 seconds. I know it's aggressive, but when the time as a trader, I'm mostly buying the dip or selling the top. That's what I love to do. That's what I'm good at, the most at least. And when the market, let's say a stock or the market is dropping down like crazy on a 1 minute chart, sometimes it will be you will have too much information there, or it will be, consolidate the information, and then you need to see nuances. You go down to the 15-second chart and you will see the lower lows or the lower highs or some price action that you can understand better where to execute the trade.
Yes, exactly. Large caps or small caps? What do you like?
Large
caps. Okay. Yeah. Very good. What sector right now in particular are you looking at? Are you looking at semiconductors or tech or healthcare? What's your sector of choice if you were to have one?
So I would go with defense. Just because the world is crazy and defense is always one thing that will be on top at the end of the day, because human beings, but in my trading way, I would look for the top 7 or the big movers of the day, and look for those buy the dip, sell at the top on
Of
that.
course. No, no, of course. So it sounds like it took you a few years to discover prop firms. You had mentioned the 10K that you got when you started to trade at a certain point. At what point in your journey did you discover prop firms, and how do you feel that they may be advantageous for retail day traders?
Yeah, I mean, prop firms, I was the head of the traders here in a local shop before going to trade a pool. So it was between 8 till 10 years ago. One of the local shops here, and we had like 70 traders. We traded together every day. I've been their mentor, sat down, analyzed the charts every single day before the market opened, after the market closed. It was an amazing time for me, and I learned a lot about myself as a trader, but also, when you're teaching someone else and you're watching someone else's trading, you can understand a lot more on your and not just about his trading, right, or her, because you're teaching, you realize, or he asks you a question that you never thought about, and once he asked that, oh, you said, now I get it, so I need to do XYZ, right, on my trading. So it was an amazing time, and so yeah, well, roughly 8-10 years ago.
Okay. All right. And that's obviously different than copy trading, right? You're actually in a community where you're really trying to learn, particularly how to subjectively trade, because it's a very individual thing to trade, as opposed to trying to say, oh, I want to take this guy who really knows how to trade. I'm just going to try to copy his trades entirely. You are imitating the trades, but you're not looking to copy, because then at a certain point, you may not have that person, or that person might even go into some downturn and you go down in the spiral with them, but you want to learn how to trade individually.
Yeah, I have this story about one of the traders, even before I was the head of the traders there. And I sat down for 30 days, or for a month, basically 20 something days, and went to his house and traded with him together. We had like two stations right next to each other, and we both ended with different results at the end of the month. And the reason is pretty simple. Although we knew what I knew and he saw my executions, we acted differently because it's individually. I will make a decision to take partial here, and he will wait a little bit longer, or maybe go before that, take it before that. I will take bigger sizes, other risks, many aspects. So even if we sit down next to each other, first of all, it doesn't make sense, as you say, it doesn't make sense to copy someone else. And second, you cannot do that, because at the end of the day, it's you against the computer, against yourself, and whatever is in your head, that will lead to the decision making and the execution part.
Yeah, I would say that's what makes it one of the greatest games maybe on earth, is that it really is you against you, right?
Yeah.
It's really not a team or corporate effort. The markets are not out to get us. If we execute wrong, it's on us. If we actually make a mistake, it's our problem. It's the fact that we didn't see something. So it is always about constant progression and constant growth. So I view it as weight training. No one's going to lift weights for me and work out for me. I have to go to the gym. I have to eat healthy. I have to build my body the way that it needs to be. Otherwise, I'm going to get out of shape or slow or whatever, or not have the muscles. It's that kind of thing. So I love that. I love that trading can be corporate. We can all talk about it. We can all try to grow together. But ultimately, it comes down to us. Are we able to actually execute the trade properly?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like you said, in the gym, you have your own body, the way it's structured, and I have a different body, right? We eat differently. We cannot lift the same weight at the same time, specifically, if we just started. You have your own thing, I have mine, so it's got to be very individual. Same goes there.
What is, real quickly, what are some basic advice perhaps for a trader who's been trading for 2, 3, maybe 4 years, hasn't really found profit yet, or maybe they're just kind of cycling through this little profit and then they're giving back? What are some just real basic pieces of advice you can give with the amount of experience that you have, Michael, where you can tell this trader, oh, look at this, look at that? what are some things that would maybe aid or help this particular trader or traders out there?
Yeah, for sure. So I guess if he already trading for a while now, the first thing to do is track the stats, right? If you're not doing that, that's by far the first thing you need to do. Just understand where you stand. What are you doing good and what are you doing bad? And once you have that, you can start breaking it to pieces and mission tasks that you can tackle. For example, if you watch your stats and you see that the best trades that you take are on Mondays between 12 till 1 on sector, biometric sector, right? Something like that. And you see it repeats itself over and over again. I mean, you got data for almost 3-4 years, as you mentioned. You already know what it's doing. So track the stats, understand that this is where you're good at, and try to tackle that over and over again. On the other side, go to the losing trade. What are you doing wrong there? You will realize, I know it on my data, at least back in the day, Fridays was a horrible day for me. Every single Friday. Nothing I would do will make it a green day. And it's not because of the market necessarily, because it went through a long period of time. So it's something that happening in my mind on Fridays, because Fridays, it's for me, it's like your Saturday, right? So it's the weekend almost. So in my mind, something happened there, and I started to track the data and see what's going on. And I realized I'm more tired on Friday, more loose because I'm at home and at the office, and I got the family around, and I'm thinking of my parents at dinner at the end of the day. All of those things. On the mental side, that got me a bit more loose in my trading, and it was horrible. So if you have the data, you can start track it and understand it. And I will give one more advice that completely changed my perspective, which is delete your P&L. I know it's a very hard task to do, but once I clicked the mouse key and deleted the window or closed the P&L window from the platform, it changed my life 100%. So
Wow.
if you're not doing that, go ahead and try it. Give it 2 weeks, not looking at your P&L. Obviously, your mind will calculate, right? I'm taking 1,000 shares. It went up by $1. Okay, I'm up by 1,000. That's fine.
Sure.
But if you don't see it, it's not affecting your brain the way you calculated it, and you're focusing on executing the trade instead of, oh, I'm up by $1, I'm minus $1, etc.
Well, that's good advice, but I'm sure for a lot of traders that would be very hard to do because they so rely on those numbers, those that are constantly moving. But you're right, you can totally see, are you up on the trade or are you down on the trade? We all can see, we can see that easily enough for sure. But what you're really getting at too is trading is psychological. It's the psychology of our own minds, right? How much of trading is basic psychology?
Yeah, when I started to trade, they told me, the teacher that I had told me it's 80% technical, 20% psychology. And along the way, I realized it's more like a 60-70 psychology, 30 on the technical.
Sure. Yeah.
Because we are, as humans, making decisions every day, taking risks. You got the fear, the greed, the hope, all of the stuff that's moving us along the way, not necessarily in trading, in general, in anything that we do in life. And once you realize that, you can understand that this is the pinpoint, this is where you need to put your focus on and start handling your decision making better than just finding the pattern on the chart, because a pattern is a pattern. Sit down in front of a computer for a full year every single day, you will get the pattern. You will understand, okay, that's the right pattern that I need to trade, right? That's the price action. But making the right decision, it's something that you need to work on every single day.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Oh, tell me just a little bit about Trade the Pool. Tell me about when that opportunity came. You became CEO of Trade the Pool. How did that start? And it's obviously Trade the Pool is constantly growing. It's a wonderful company. I'm of course biased, but I particularly like Trade the Pool before I even started working for Trade the Pool. I was utilizing the evals before I even came there. I asked Grok a year ago. I said, "Give me a list of prop firms that are good." The number one on top from Grok at that with that particular search was Trade the Pool. So I checked it out, saw it, and I said, okay, cool. This is pretty great. First picture on the website that I see, Michael Katz, this guy here. I see your face on there. You got a little more beard that you got to have growing to actually catch back up to a lot of your earlier pictures, but that's okay. You still look great. A little white, but that's okay. I'm getting there every couple of weeks. I'm finding new little pieces. So apparently it happens with age, they tell me. I don't know. We'll see. But again, tell me a little bit about Trade the Pool, starting that.
Yeah, Trade the Pool is an amazing company, amazing project. Gil, the founder, gave me a call. We sat down, we talked, we had a great chemistry right from the get-go. He told me, this is the keys, and these are the keys. Go ahead and do it. And because I came already with the background of the head of the traders in a local prop, I knew what I needed to do. I had a few ideas, the vision, started to build it, worked with a great team, really amazing guys that work there, under the 5% as the leader company. And then, we just continue to create, continue to build it. We were the only one, probably still the only one in the market that offered stock prop firm for stocks. And it was an incredible journey for me, 5 years that I've been there. We have an amazing team in-house and outside as well. You've been on the team for a while now, and we got good guys really that are supporting on Discord, the community, on YouTube, and I love being part of it. I'm just moving on, but I'm sure the company will continue to grow and see a lot of success.
Yes, it really is a great prop firm. And like you said, it is the one, if not maybe the only prop firm where you can do all of these stocks and the ETFs. I looked around, there were other names that I saw that you can of course do futures and you can do other things, but Trade the Pool is a bit of a purple squirrel out there in that we can trade about 12,000 different stocks. We can go long, we can go short, and it's a very unique company in that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, very good. Okay, great. Well, Michael, thank you so much for talking to me. Any closing thoughts? Anything else going out as you go live the island life? And we all miss you, and of course want you back, but we completely understand. And yeah, anything else at all? And we really enjoy, of course, you coming on, and I enjoy you coming on today. I'm sure those that are listening do as well, and they'll get a lot out of this.
Amazing, yeah, for sure. It just for those of you who love trading, keep at it. Keep doing what you do. The motivation of loving what you do, which is trading, is what will get you through the rough times, because you will have those if you didn't experience that by now. But that's totally fine. It's part of the game, part of the journey. Just keep pushing. Eventually you will get it. And again, today with the prop industry, you can much more easily get to that point where you can actually make money in the market, which is amazing.
Very good. Michael Katz, thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.